Hello there, people of the internet. How's everyone doing today? I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. I think my air conditioner over there just gave out. Hopefully this GoPro stays on. So if you watched my last video, which not a whole lot of people did, I got my Inner Ordnance AK-47 back from their gunsmithing shop. Sat there for about a year and a half. They didn't do anything to it, so I had them send it back to me so I could repair it myself. This Inner Ordnance AK-47 is going to be basically my beater AK-47 that I'm not going to care about. The bolt's messed up, firing pin and its retainers are messed up, the barrel's walking, all the tolerances are so ridiculously loose, so I just basically decided to myself, I'm going to get it going, sort of, but for the most part, I'm just going to kind of have it set to the side. Alright, that being said, on my last video, I said I was going to swap the wood with the Inner Ordnance AK with my Romanian RH-10, and then I said I was going to paint the AK-47 gold. And that's exactly what I did. This is my Inner Ordnance AK-47. It's an absolute piece of shit AK-47. Firing pin keeps flying out of the bolt, despite the fact I've replaced everything multiple times. Barrel keeps walking, no matter how tight that retaining pin is. This gun has problems, and I'm likely not gonna really use it all that much. So I painted it gold, and I'm gonna hang it on my shelf, and that's probably where it's gonna stay for a long time. Now, it still is semi-functional. Like if I chamber some rounds, it'll probably fire, and I'll get through probably about a mag or so before the firing pin comes back out. Don't ask me why it keeps coming back out. My bet is the bolt itself is messed up. I got an aftermarket firing pin and firing pin retainer and tried to stick it in there, but the firing pin went in just normally, but the firing pin retainer just dropped right through the bolt, which really tells me that there's something seriously wrong going on there. So maybe I'll get this up and going one day, but until then, this is freaking sweet. I'm not all that concerned if the paint gets scratched or chipped or rubbed off. I was very careful not to get any paint on the internals of the rifle itself. Paint can oftentimes be flammable, so you want to be very careful as to where you get paint on your rifle. And I was, in case I ever decide to get this thing up and going again, which I am doubtful I'll ever do that. This wood on this Inner Ordnance AK-47 was from my RH-10. I swapped wood because the wood that came on this rifle was actually really nice. Not only that, but this lighter wood really goes nice with this gold, and I sure as hell wasn't going to paint my RH-10 gold. That being said, let me grab my RH-10, because now that I have everything swapped around and where I want it to be, I got it looking like a little DMR. Alright guys, this right here is my RH-10. As you can see, I threw the wood on there from the Inner Ordnance AK. Much nicer than the wood that came on it. The wood is like the one good thing about the Inner Ordnance rifle. Well, at least the way it looks. It's actually very loose fitting. Like I can move these handguards without even disassembling the AK, and our butt plate back here kind of jiggles. I don't have the scope tightened down. It's just kind of sitting there right now. I got my mini mag on it, and this RH-10 really does look like a little DMR rifle, which is exactly the look I was going for. Now, I can just take the scope off and, swap the mag out for a standard capacity if I want it to look like a semi-regular AK-47 other than the gas block, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted something exactly like this, and this is what I got. I'm going to tighten down the scope, take it out, go zero it, but that will be another day since it is nighttime right now. I'm very pleased with how the wood looks on this thing. I was a little concerned with the RH-10 wood because it was really tight and really brittle. It almost looks like it's made out of particle board. Very cheap stuff, but the coloration goes really well with that gold, if I do say so myself. Alright, the RH-10 I'm definitely gonna, fire quite a bit through. I'm gonna really burn some ammo through that thing. This thing right here, probably not. Like I said, the barrel just walks. And, I've tried oversized retaining pins for the barrel, and I've tried, I've tried a couple of things actually to stop this barrel from moving around like it does, but I guess Inner Ordnance just likes having more tolerance than the AK-47 is supposed to have. They probably think that it would make it easier from a manufacturing standpoint, but in reality you just get a bunch of crappy rifles. Now the paint job on this thing is not the greatest. I did, get the sights and whatnot. They're still functioning. The rifle itself is still a functioning rifle-ish until the firing pin falls out. Little sticky from the paint, but I don't give a damn. This right here is basically made to cosmetically look good. I might use it as a parts AK later down the road if I find myself needing parts for an AK. Some lacquer thinner will clear that gold paint off very easily, and then I'll probably just paint it black, or maybe I'll just paint it black whenever I need the part. I don't really know, and I don't really care, but I do like the way it looks. Like, this AK-47 was a nightmare to me for the longest time. It used to be basically my entire world, and then it used to be my dream rifle, and then it became my nightmare rifle. This was my very first AK-47, and my AK-47 was my absolute dream rifle. Then I finally got one, and I figured out that it was as bottom of the barrel as you could possibly get. And I'm really upset about that. Not necessarily ashamed, but very upset, because the amount I paid for this would have gotten me like a Wasser 10 or something like that. That would probably last more than how long this thing lasted. I think I stuck about 700 rounds through this thing. But, like I said, I'm going to try and get it going best I can. I might have to custom make a retaining pin for that barrel. And I will definitely have to get a new bolt and, firing pin accessories and just that whole assembly if I feel like ever even attempting to fire this rifle. But that'll be later on down the road. I've got my RH-10, and I don't really need this Inner Ordnance AK. I mean, it is nice that I have it. It's a parts gun. That's basically all it is. It will fire if you try firing it, but it won't last long before you have to disassemble it. Alright, that being said, this video right here is kind of short, but I spent the past couple of days working on this thing, and boy, was I ecstatic about them. RH-10 there, I have fired it since I put the wood on. I have not even attempted to fire this thing. I doubt I'll attempt to fire this thing. It does pass the no-go gauge, but just barely, and I'm 99.99% sure that has to do with the walking barrel. Normally, whenever you're fixing AK-47 barrel walk, you just smash the barrel against a rock to hammer it back in, and then you fire a couple more mags until the barrel starts walking out again, and then you smash it back in, and rinse, repeat, keep doing that. To get that to stop, you stick a bigger barrel retaining pin in there, but I have stuck numerous barrel retaining pins in there, and I'm still having the same problem. That leads me to believe that maybe the front trunnion and receiver end up there is perhaps a little too tolerant in its own right, which would really not surprise me whenever you're talking about Inner Ordnance. They like to keep their tolerances as lenient as possible. It's very possible that I've just completely gone through the entire lifespan of this AK-47. I got, I don't know, 700, 800 rounds through it, give or take. This AK is made for the average shooter, and I'm definitely not the average shooter. Blasting through 1,000 rounds is almost nothing to me, as anyone who has seen the car out back knows. If you have not seen the car out back, go ahead and check out some of the other videos. and just watch me completely destroy that car, and I do that on numerous occasions. That being said, I got a whole lot of video editing to do. I got so many different... I got like 15 plus videos that I gotta go edit. Check out the Patreon page. I know my subscriber count is ridiculously low. My viewer count is ridiculously low. But if you want to help me grow, check out the Patreon page. If not, and you don't want to help out financially, go ahead and just mash that subscribe button to see future endeavors that I undertake. Just mashing that subscribe button will definitely help the channel grow in its own right. Alright, that being said, I'm going to go try and hit up my best friend. He hasn't talked to me in like, I don't know, 2 weeks now. Ever since I picked up that M88A. Best friend since like 3rd grade. So I hope he decides to talk to me relatively soon. I hear the peacock screaming in the background. I'm going to go do that, and then video editing, and then beer and pizza, and then probably shower. And then I might sleep. Maybe. We'll see about that. Alright, I'm going to go handle that. You guys go off. Have yourself a fantastic day.